I were to tell you that these two speakers cost the same, would you believe me? The JBL Flip 6 and the 100 watt Nesty party speaker. Would you believe me? And if I told you which one is louder, which one has a companion amp, which one is water resistant, and which one has the longest battery life, how accurate would you please be? Welcome back to Cypher Productions. I'm your host Christiaan from Unveiling, and if this is your first time checking out some of my content, I hope I can impress you just a little bit to hit that subscribe button, or just checking out some of my other content. Now, a recent purchase got me thinking a little. I obviously paid the same for these two speakers, so they should be similar, right? Come on, don't be silly. Although it's fun to connect these two in stereo and party hard, they can't be further apart from each other for the niche they try to fill or the consumer they try to target. But this is Cypher Productions. I'm still going to put these two in the ring and find out which one is the best. With the criteria for the battle, we're going to start in the next few seconds. But let's get the similarities out of the way. They're both black. So let's set up the criteria for this maybe even unfair battle. Let's call it the building blocks of a good speaker. Or bugs, if you may. Criteria for the battle will include loudness of speakers, the amount of bass produced by the speakers, the battery life of the speakers down to 50% at 100% volume, sound manipulation aka treble bass and mids, durability of the speakers, and portability of both the speakers. Now let's start with the first test of loudness. Now, an easy way we're going to test this is by lighting up a candle. Putting it in front of the speaker housing, and then the loudness will boom, boom, boom. If it's loud enough, the candle will blow out, or the vibration might make it move. I don't know what to expect. Let's check how the test goes. Who could have predicted that? Obviously the big one is going to be louder, produce more bass. This, in fact, is a 100 watt speaker. This is about a 30 watt speaker. And although none of the speakers blew out the candle, it was really interesting to see how this speaker made the housing for the candle move, which I found really interesting, which is why we're going to give 1 point to the big speaker and 0 to the small one. disappointing. I was expecting a lot more from both speakers. The bigger speaker should have emptied this cup. But the system won't lie to us. So it is still 1-0 in the point system because the bigger speaker did make the water vibrate a little bit more, but disappointing all around. Let's just see what the other tests have in store. And now the really subjective part of battery. Obviously it depends on how you use your speaker, but for argument's sake, this one objectively has the better battery life because it doesn't have the same output power, and this one's battery has been used a lot longer. So for using it at max volume down to 50% on both of these speakers, 2 to 3 hours on max, maybe 30 to 45 minutes on max power up to 50%. Now for the sound manipulation test, always you can change how the speaker works. For the Nesty speaker it includes Bluetooth mode, FM mode or aux mode. And ways to change how music sounds is a dial to change the treble from -7 up to a +7 and the bass from a -7 up to a +7 rating. But even with those perks the Nesty speaker gives, I have to give the edge to the JBL speaker, which comes with a companion app. Opening it up, you can even choose a custom name for your speaker, and it gives you equalizer to adjust feedback tone on or off, your bass, the mids and the treble. And another interesting thing the JBL offers is party boost, so that you can connect speakers up to 100 speakers at once. If you would like to read, just pause. So obviously durability is an important factor in the criteria I've set up. The important thing to remember is because it's a Bluetooth speaker we're talking about, durability is an important factor because we're moving around, maybe even damaging the speakers, which is why the Flip 6 encourages me to maybe even plop it in a tree, fill up the backyard, and I have no regrets giving it the splash because that's what it was made for. The Nesty, however, I would be scared to get it damp. And another important factor to consider is, well, the portability. You see, I want to take my speaker to my friend's house so the party can continue anywhere, anytime. Now that's real easy with a JBL Flip 6. When you transform over factor, that's when portability is going to hinder you when you're trying to take your 100 watt party speaker to carry on with the party. And the best way to carry it is with both hands occupied. And for special features, the Nesty speaker has a place input for 2 mics, a guitar, and the JBL speaker has access to what JBL calls the party boost, which requires you to have more than one party boost capable speaker. I think we all could have predicted the outcome of this battle, unless you were the guy rooting for this big speaker to go on you with your next paddle biking trip. I'm sorry for your matter. The results clearly stated the obvious. The bigger speaker was louder and prettier, and the smaller speaker was tougher and more portable. Unfortunately, we found out the bigger speaker had a weaker battery, so it would have to stay a plug-in speaker for the coming time until you decide to upgrade. And the smaller speaker wasn't loud enough to fill a backyard party or even feel the bass in your feet when you're standing next to it. Now, you can critique me by telling me that obviously the bigger speaker was louder than the smaller speaker, which was only good enough to put in your backpack. But that's the point. You buy your gadgets and toys, and even speakers for that matter, based on your needs. So only when you are in the market for a 2,500 rand speaker that could, for example, fill up a backyard party, or is durable and proof to go on your next biking or 4x4 trip, would you make calculated decisions based on these results? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why knowing the obvious of louder and prouder and silent and deadly is when these results would concern you after making a calculated decision based on what I told you in this video. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you found value, just give me one of these. Or if you didn't find this video satisfying or come to your needs, thank you for watching it through anyway. And joke's on you. As with all of my videos, I have to put in a disclaimer. So, since I've stopped filming 2 hours ago, this video unfortunately is not sponsored, which means I do not have a real party box speaker to compare to the Flip 6, and that hence they cost the same. That also leads me to my next point. This is not a scientific test. So if this test leads to you making the wrong purchasing decision, that can't be on me.